Ooh, 8. Oh, 2 left, 2 left. Come on, buddy. Oh,
you did it!
Congratulations! Where's Melissa?
I can see Sabrina.
Do you guys see each other?
No.
This is us hitting 1 million subscribers, 3 years after starting Answer in Progress and 2 years after we almost quit. And this is the story of how we got there. But this isn't just the story of 3 college kids making it on YouTube. To explain our journey, growth, and the lessons we learned along the way, I took a deep dive into the beating heart of success on YouTube. I found the actual research papers from the engineers that designed the YouTube algorithm and tried to trace the entire history of how YouTube recommends videos to its users. In this video, we piece together the untold history of the evolution of YouTube and explain how the YouTube algorithm works. It looks sciencey.
You have a towel in your hallway.
What was it like during the war, Grandpa? Thank you to Shopify for sponsoring this video and also in supporting our launch of our commemorative t-shirt celebrating 1 million subscribers. Here it is. I'm wearing it. So we designed this shirt to celebrate the Answer in Progress spirit of figuring it out and going along for the journey. We tested a bunch of shirts and different types of printing to get this perfect, and also asking our patrons whether or not any of our designs were any good. And it turns out our original ones were very bad. This shirt is supposed to be a celebration of 1 million subscribers, so it's only going to be on sale for 1 week, and if you're a Patreon supporter, then you'll be able to get a discount. So if you want to be part of the 1 million subscriber club, you can find this shirt at answerinprogress.com/shop for 1 week only. Don't come to me asking, hey, can I get the shirt? I don't have it. It's gone. I'm sorry, Jane. So we hit 1 million subscribers. Oh, my hat fell off already. Some people throw a party, celebrate, they do a giveaway. We could barely get a call together.
I can see Sabrina.
Where's Melissa? Can you hear me? That's a rip.
We're still kind of just figuring it out as we go along. So what can you expect? The truth is, this isn't really an overnight success. We've been making videos for over 10 years without a clue of what's going on. Real ones will remember Nerdy and Quirky, or the true deep cut, my videos.
Dave would read the Daily Mail to reinforce the fact that he was a male daily.
In January 2020, we decided to start what would become Answer in Progress. We decided to take the leap of making this hobby of being chronically online and making it our full-time job. And in doing so, we realized we have to get views. So we made the best videos we could. We did animation, editing, research, cinematography, and we watched the views roll in, asking and answering questions we were curious about.
Is there an ideal type of water to keep you hydrated?
Can you teach a robot to be a good person?
Who invented the cheese sandwich?
Showing you everything we were figuring out along the way. And the views just kept going up. The subscribers were rolling in. They called us the next Ken Burns, the next Spielberg, the next Casey Neistat. You've probably realized by now, that didn't actually happen. Every time we uploaded, we got fewer and fewer views and we were losing subscribers. At one point, we even had a conversation about just shutting the whole thing down and getting real jobs. We'd all graduated at this point and the realities of adulthood were looming. This dream of ours didn't seem like it was feasible. None of us wanted to shut this down, but we couldn't really sustain ourselves on it. So we decided to put it to a vote. Despite all of that, we decided to give it one more shot. But this time we were gonna do it different.
One of the best ways to get more views on your videos is
Hack the YouTube algorithm.
The YouTube algorithm.
YouTube's algorithms.
The algorithm?
Algorithm.
beating the YouTube algorithm can get more views.
Okay, so there's this thing called the algorithm, and if we know how the algorithm works, then we'll be able to get views, and if we're able to get views, then the YouTube channel won't die, which is good. Quick question, what the heck is the Okay, so on February 14th, 2005, YouTube looked like this. Can you see it? Initially set up as a video dating site, they quickly pivoted to solve the general problem of sharing videos online. Video was a pretty chunky amount of data for old school dial-up connections, so when we shifted to broadband, the technology was ready for a platform like YouTube. So with YouTube up and running, people could happily share their videos online, as long as it was under 100 megabytes and less than 30 seconds.
Alright, so here we are in front of the elephants.
Over time though, YouTube would solve the technical limitations to uploading videos, and so they had solved the problem they had set out to tackle. Now it's as easy as uploading your MP4 file to your .com website, and that's where the story ends. There's more. Now YouTube has a new problem, with anyone being able to upload to YouTube, including you. How do people find the good stuff? That is where the algorithm comes in. But here's the thing, I grew up on YouTube. I remember saving up for my first iPod Touch and watching a soft-spoken British man tell me how perfect the engineering was.
When something
exceeds your ability to understand how it works, it sort of becomes magical.
This is before the iPod Touch came with an app store, but what it did come pre-installed with was an app called YouTube.
Here we are.
But here's the thing, I don't remember there being an algorithm back then, so how exactly did videos get recommended to their users? Let's figure it out. Okay, so the internet isn't massive on keeping an archive. A lot of the stuff documenting this, like blogs, forums, websites, don't exist anymore. So a lot of the early information has been lost to time, and if it hasn't been lost to time, it's in the web archive, which is way harder to search. It's been quite hard to like piece together the things that I need to know. There are these pretty reliable Wikipedia pages that go through the timeline of things that I've been using to like base a lot of the stuff that I'm doing off, and then looking at where they're citing, but like some of their sources are also dead and other ones just feel like an opinion, like they don't feel like they're drawing from any reputable source. So I'm a bit question mark on a lot of this stuff. I'm having to rely on a lot of the stuff that I remember from when I was growing up on YouTube, and also on things that other people have said about how YouTube worked back in the day. Like looking at old vlogs and seeing how they're referring to YouTube.
The only thing that's really changed about the homepage is the search box at the top and a couple of things that I'll go over in a minute.
What I've realized is I might have accidentally decided to make a video on the history of one of Google's trade secrets. I guess they weren't just telling everyone on the internet how it works in real time back in the day. I don't know why they weren't doing that. It would have made my life a lot easier. So I'm realizing I might need a little bit of help figuring this out. And I think I know just the guy. I do feel like part of this conversation feels a little bit like, what was it like during the war, Grandpa? Tell us about the past.
The way that content was discovered in the early days of YouTube was almost exactly like how podcasts are discovered today. People would somehow hear about them, and then they would tell people, and that was it. But there was this one way that content was actually recommended, which was just a person decided to link to videos on the front page of YouTube. A person who had extra power, I have no idea who they were. That was a very big deal because it was youtube.com, and there was one video that was on the top of the list, and there was a new video every day.
For the first time ever, a Brotherhood 2.0 video after like 150 of these things is on the front page of YouTube. Thank you to whoever you are who put it there.
Originally, there was a person in charge of watching YouTube videos and then manually curating the YouTube homepage. If they liked your videos, they would put them up there, and if they didn't, they wouldn't. And in the early days of YouTube, getting on the homepage was a career-defining moment. It was like suddenly you were the headline act on the biggest stage on the internet, the YouTube homepage. So if Answer in Progress was around in 2007 and wanted to get views quickly, you could probably just figure out what this person liked, make those types of videos, or convince them to put you on the YouTube homepage somehow. Unfortunately for us, that person no longer exists. How do you even spell manual? Manual curation was a lo-fi way to get high quality videos in front of the public. YouTube could put their best foot forward and control the tone of videos, the quality of content, and the vibe they wanted to give off for the website. And as a young website, this worked really well for YouTube. You'd be surprised at the amount of startups that do something manually at the beginning that doesn't scale to get the right tone and vibe for their startup. I mean, Airbnb used to go door to door to try and recruit people for their website. However, this manual curation process runs into two problems. Firstly, with the amount of videos being uploaded increasing, it became even more difficult to curate the growing number of uploads. I mean, if they wanted to do this today with over 500 hours of video being uploaded every minute, they would need at least 30,000 people working around the clock that know every language, understand every subgenre, every community nuance, to understand the content that's on the platform, and then decide whether it's good or not, and then upload it. So all of that labor together is just completely untenable. Also, most videos are probably bad, so they don't want to be watching it. But YouTube did try and get around this by adding the most liked and rated videos of the day to try and get a non-manual process onto the YouTube homepage. So arguably this could be seen as like the first YouTube algorithm where it would just surface the most watched thing of the day. But given there was still a manual curation process, I would argue this is still in the manual curation era of the YouTube homepage. I mean, even if you solved all of that, you still have your second problem. Hang on, we gotta add that. See that? That is the beginning of the beginning of the beginning before the YouTube algorithm. 2006. Wait. I got it wrong. 2007. Here's the thing, even if you were to solve all of that, you would still run into the second problem. With a universal and centralized homepage, you can only really be curating one set of videos, which means that you're only ever going to be able to cater for one group of people. People with different languages, cultures, interests are never going to be properly catered for. I think famously 20-something tech bros don't know everything about the lived experiences and interests of everyone else on the planet. And because of this second problem, the YouTube homepage as it currently stands will never be able to have truly mass appeal. So the first major change happened when the YouTube homepage started to look different for every person.
It's wild to think that every person would get the exact same youtube.com. But that was a huge shift when suddenly, YouTube was recommending a different, like, depending on what you're into, you're going to get a different youtube.com.
Now, when you go to the YouTube homepage, you see a unique selection of videos that have been specifically selected for you to watch. And when you refresh, you get a new set of videos. This is all determined by a recommendation algorithm. So if Answer in Progress wants to succeed, we need to get onto this homepage. So the question becomes, what the heck is a recommendation? I found the actual research papers from the engineers that designed the YouTube algorithm. Okay, this is really dumb of me. I've been stuck for a couple of days trying to get some actual facts about the YouTube algorithm. And then I just typed it into Google Scholar. And I found all of these research papers about the YouTube algorithm. But then I noticed that some of them were published by Google. And then I stumbled across research.google, where they just publish it all. Look at this. They have a publication database where I can just search the word YouTube and get every single research paper that they've published publicly. And they give you filters for year, research area, even teams. My life is so much easier now. And this stuff is really interesting and I feel like I understand it, but some parts are fairly technical. So I did spend a couple of days with Google and ChatGPT to make sure that I actually understand the stuff that's written here. And now I feel like I understand the matrix. And before anyone says anything in the comments, I know that ChatGPT is terrible when it comes to factual accuracy, but what I have found it useful for is checking if I understand something. I have been reading them and then using Google, the old-fashioned Google, to understand what's going on in technical terms and key terms. And then I will highlight paragraphs or sections that I feel like I understand, but I don't quite know if I've got it. And then I'll just copy that section and put it into ChatGPT and have it rewrite that in plain English. And then I'll read that explanation. And if that matches up with my understanding, then I have like a second opinion. I think this is probably pushing the limit to my comfortability in relying on ChatGPT in my research. I don't know if anyone else has thoughts on this workflow. I did also find some really great non-technical blogs explaining the same concepts from these papers. They cite these papers as the source of their explanation, so I know that I'm on the right track as well. But here's the thing, explaining the technicalities of how this all works is pretty boring. So I've decided to explain it via a game show. Hello and welcome to the Algorithm Game Show, where I have convinced 3 people to play my game show. Have I told them what the rules are? Absolutely not. Do they know why they're here?
Absolutely not.
Round 1. In this round, you will get points for answering the question correctly and lose points for answering the question incorrectly. Rowan.
Oh God.
Yellow or green?
Yellow.
It was green. Glarses. Fruit or veg?
Fruit.
It was green again. Yes, 1 point for you. Max.
Hi.
Shiny or not shiny?
Not shiny.
Let's find out.
Well, it's not shiny currently.
Oh no, but it's about to become shiny.
Becomes shiny.
It's sadly shiny.
I'm so confused.
Oh my goodness.
So without any information, it's impossible to put the objects in the right categories consistently. The contestants are just making random guesses, and that is an explanation of how the YouTube algorithm works. What's that? What am I on about? Good question. YouTube can't actually watch the videos the same way that a human can. So the YouTube algorithm would just have to make random guesses about what the video is about if they didn't have any other information about the video. Luckily for them, they do have other information. This contextual data is called metadata. It's stuff like titles, tags, the captions, the stuff you put in the description, the country that you upload from, and a bunch of other stuff. All of this data helps YouTube understand the vibe of the video, and then based on that, they can categorize the video into a relevant topic.
You've got 10 of these.
Yep.
There we go.
All right, motherfuckers.
In this round, the contestant must describe a household object using only 3 descriptive words. Then the other 2 need to take those words and sort the mystery item into the room where it lives in my actual house.
Okay, we're going with wooden, ornate, rectangular.
I'd like to say kitchen.
That's incorrect.
Hallway.
That is correct.
And for a bonus point,
What the hell
what
was
do you
it?
think it was?
I have no idea what it is though.
This round simulates tags and other metadata. YouTube still doesn't know exactly what the video is, but with the information given, YouTube and the contestants can start to create a mental model of what it might be and which audience it might be for.
Absorbent, large, rectangular.
Kitchen.
That is incorrect.
Bathroom.
You'd think, but no. It is a towel, but it is in the hallway.
I'm just a
kooky guy.
I'm just a unique man.
Versatile, handle, food.
Kitchen?
Correct.
And what is it?
Fridge.
Incorrect. It's a spork.
Rectangular, small, buttons.
Living room.
Correct.
Legs. Mahogany. Drawers.
Living room.
Correct.
And for a bonus point, what is it?
You know, one of the things, I don't know what they're called, you know, the things you put stuff in. Chest, like a little bit like a, what the f*** are they called?
TV stand.
No.
Rectangular.
Course.
Absorbent.
Of course.
Smaller.
Bathroom.
Correct.
Sponge.
No.
You have a sponge in your bathroom?
You have a towel in your hallway.
Bedroom.
Kitchen.
Nope.
Bathroom.
Correct. Bathroom.
Correct.
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 So that's how the YouTube algorithm works. It uses metadata in order to sort the video and then shows it to the relevant people. There's more.
Welcome to the bonus round. In this round, every single question you get right will be an extra 100 points.
That's pretty bonus.
This is the most important round. What brand offers an easy-to-use, all-in-one commerce platform for anyone, regardless of technical ability and experience, to start, grow, and manage an online business?
Shopify.
Correct.
Oh.
If I was to sell a novelty shirt celebrating 1 million
Shopify.
Correct. What is
it Shopify?
I actually have to get through the talking.
Shopify.
Who assisted us in creating our previous product, the Curiosity Journal?
Is it my
It is not. Anyone else want to guess?
Can I hear the rest of the question?
Yes. Supported us in making a commerce platform in order to sell the Curiosity Journal.
Is that Shopify at the door?
That is indeed. Who empowers entrepreneurs more than...
Mahatma Gandhi.
Absolutely not. More than anyone else around the world. Millions of businesses in over 175 countries.
Call me crazy, but I think it's Shopify.
Absolutely. If you wanted to sell online, in stores, and on all major social media platforms, what service would you go?
Shopify.
Correct. The final question, worth 1,000 points. What is the URL that you can use to get a free trial to Shopify using the link in the description?
Shopify.com / answer in progress.
That's right. You can use Shopify.com / answer in progress to get a free trial. Complete this sentence. Thanks to blank for sponsoring this video. Rowan. Yes, 100 points to Rowan. And one more time, what is the URL that you can use to get a free trial to Shopify?
Shopify.com / answer in progress.
Absolutely. Another 1,000 points for Glarses. Our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this bonus round.
Who's out the door? It's Shopify, baby.
This is a basic version of how early iterations of the YouTube algorithm worked. It is the system that they use to identify videos, but it doesn't explain how they know if a video is any good or who to send it to. The algorithm not only can't watch a YouTube video, but it also doesn't know who you are. Or does it? Also, after a while, it turns out it doesn't even matter what the video is about. Let me explain. I don't think it'll surprise anyone if I said that YouTube is using your past watch history to determine what it's going to recommend you in the future. If you watched an Among Us video during the pandemic, suddenly all you see is Among Us videos. However, if you zoom out a little bit, you can see how the algorithm is using this data to collectively test things against each other. So this is my watch history. Let's say that I only like watching red or blue videos. So if YouTube sends me a red or blue video, I generally watch it and I like it. If YouTube sends me anything else, I don't. After a while, YouTube will know that if it sends me a mystery video and I like it, it's probably red or blue. And let's say this is your watch history, and let's say that you only like watching blue videos. Now, if YouTube sends you the mystery video and you like it, it's probably a blue video, and if you don't like it, it's probably a red video. So now let's say there is a third person and they only like watching red videos. Let's assume that I liked this mystery video, you didn't like it. YouTube can be sure that this video is something that the third person will like because you didn't like it and I did, which means that it has to be a red video. YouTube can now send this video to this third person with full confidence that they'll like the video. Obviously, this is a very simplified version of what's going on, but you can see how with only a few views, YouTube is pretty confident it can recommend a video to someone without even knowing anything about what the content of the video is. So after a while, metadata doesn't even matter anymore because YouTube can use collective user behavior in order to sort a video. Let's say you have two viewers with identical watch histories. If one viewer watches a video that the other hasn't, YouTube can pretty confidently recommend it to the second one if the first person enjoyed the video. YouTube is dynamically trying to understand what you, the viewer, are into and trying to understand what a video is about by building a model through trial and error. By the way, you can actually see this on the back end. I can see the general videos that our collective audience watches and other channels that they watch over the last 28 days. So if I had a brand new channel and all I did was watch Answer in Progress, then you would probably get recommended these channels. But this can lead to some pretty interesting results. Have you ever been on YouTube and you watch a video that's got nothing to do with anything you've watched before, but you click on it and you're still interested in the video? This is probably because even though it seems out of the blue, there is likely a large group of people with similar viewing habits to you that also enjoyed the video. And based on that data, even though there is zero topic alignment, YouTube can pretty confidently recommend this video to you. Another interesting phenomenon is a case study like the Try Guys. If you didn't know, the Try Guys used to be on BuzzFeed, which is a big media channel, and then they left to start their own channel. BuzzFeed never shouted them out or pushed people to their new channel, but they didn't have to. After the initial launch, the YouTube algorithm would have identified that anyone who enjoyed the BuzzFeed videos are now suddenly really interested in this new channel. And so YouTube can pretty confidently recommend the videos on the new channel to the old BuzzFeed audience. This is because the data has identified that these two audiences are connected. So life finds a way, and by life, I mean a highly sophisticated algorithm developed by one of the biggest tech companies in the world. So let's see how the guinea pigs did in this final round.
Oh my...
Headphones.
In this round, the contestants were blindfolded and then given a series of objects that they had to sort into two categories. Only they don't know what the objects are or what the categories are. The only thing they will know is if they've sorted the object correctly or incorrectly. This mimics the YouTube algorithm only having a vague idea of what the video actually is and then using that data to build a picture of how to sort the video.
No, I know what they are.
And I have no context for where they should go, so we're just putting them over there. Oh no.
No.
This is a card. I'm assuming it's like a credit card or something.
Credit card.
I don't know what it is.
Over here as well. Oh, okay.
An iPhone.
This is someone's phone. Why not? Oh, yay.
What the AirPods.
This is like a little case for the headphones.
I'm guessing the trick here is that you want me to put them in the right pile because the headphones were in the right pile, but I have to start to see if that makes sense.
This was the side that the previous headphones were meant to go on.
Yeah. I'm assuming because I put the phone on my right and I got it wrong, this is an Apple product.
If it was size, if that's my guess of what the things are, then I'm going to put it here.
I'm going to put them on this side.
Therefore, it should go on the left. Good.
Oh, is that my brownies?
Maybe.
That smells like my brownies.
What the f is that?
It's a bowl of something.
Wait, those brownies?
Ooh, were the headphones over here?
Yeah.
Damn it.
I've been really rude to Rowan's brownies. What?
Okay, so it turns out that humans are not very good at this. We threw in some red herrings like a broken pair of headphones and a fancy pair of headphones. A nuance that would be realistic, but I think it really threw people off.
I can't tell if it's to do with like electronics or non-electronics because the headphones were in different groups.
Is the fact that the headphones and the other headphones were in 2 different piles?
No, because the headphones were over here as well.
Computers are just much better at rejecting outliers and building a mental model off data. The humans were just trialing one theory before discarding it if it didn't fit, whereas a computer can trial every theory and then discard the ones that don't fit over time. Everyone seemed to get more confused when we added more and more items, especially with the red herrings. Rowan and Glarses just gave up.
I don't get it.
I think you know that I don't know, so let's put it over there. Sure.
But Max started to get there.
Just know that there's something to do with electronics and stuff on the left-hand side. Is this a COVID testing kit? Toothbrush.
So like, what did you have in your mind? You were like,
I had in my mind like electronics on my left-hand side, something to do with Apple on my left-hand side, because I got given the phone, the AirPods.
If we were to make it easier by taking away some objects, let's take away the headphones. How about now?
Something that you would gift to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that makes more sense in terms of gifts for Christmas and not gifts for Christmas, or even just knickknacks you'd either have in your kitchen or your bathroom.
Yeah. That was it?
That's it.
I think you did pretty well, and it actually mimicked the algorithm really, really nicely. You don't actually know what this category is, but you're still getting things right. So that's actually how the algorithm works. It doesn't actually know anything.
Yeah.
So it sometimes will get the right answer using secondary characteristics, which is exactly what we're trying to explain.
So to summarize, the algorithm is trying to figure out what you're into by comparing your watch history to the watch history of everyone else. Then it tries to find videos that you probably like by sending you videos that performed well to people similar to you. At the same time, it's continually trying to figure out what the video it's just shown you even is, what videos it would pair well with, what videos it's similar to, and who else would like to watch that video. So if I want to succeed within this algorithm, I need to make videos that perform well so that the algorithm can recommend it to similar people. Sounds easy enough. The issue is, what makes a video perform well? In 2008, YouTube introduced a small panel for personalized recommended videos on the YouTube homepage, using an algorithmic recommendation system to predict what videos you would enjoy in the future. Oh, how do I spell algorithm? I spelt it wrong before. Algorithm. That's 2008, but by 2011, the majority, if not all, of the YouTube homepage had become algorithmically generated. That's another one for the timeline. So, by 2011, the majority of the YouTube homepage was generated algorithmically. And as far as I can tell, this recommendation system is the one that's defined in the initial research paper. Initially, the recommendation system used views as a major indicator of what makes a good video. So, a good performing video was one that got a lot of clicks, the rationale being clicking on a video provides a strong indication that you will also find it satisfying. After all, you wouldn't click on something you don't want to watch. This combined with ratings, comments, favorites, and sharing is what YouTube thought of as a good video. While clicks seemed like an intuitive metric, it was vulnerable to abuse. Not only were people trying to game the system by encouraging their audience to like and comment, but people quickly realized that getting people to click on a video was more important than if they actually enjoyed it. And so began clickbait.
You may have fallen victim to clickbait.
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 Clickbait. Clickbait is when you click on something and you expect it to be something, and then it's just completely not even close.
And so that's very attention-grabbing thumbnails. It's no regard for whether the content of the title and the thumbnail has any bearing on the content of the video. Clickbait is fine as long as you're actually giving me value once you've baited me into the click. But in that system, there was no incentive to deliver after the click.
This became a rampant issue for YouTube. People were titling videos outrageous things without any regard for what the video actually delivered. But by 2012, there was another problem. A handful of women known as the YouTube reply girls. We're in 2012 now. I'm gonna run out of space before I get to the end of this timeline. I hope this doesn't break my wall. Hopefully that's better. I don't think it's actually any better. But YouTube had this feature that allowed people to create video replies to videos. It was a fairly useful feature for people wanting to respond to trends or create discussion. It's kind of like the duet or reply feature on TikTok nowadays. Notably though, these video responses were given a special place underneath the video rather than just on the YouTube sidebar. These video responses never really caught on in a super big way other than in discussion communities like BookTube. Do I have a source for that? No, because YouTube got rid of this feature and basically all evidence that it exists as well. But I was there and I watched those video responses. So see that? That's my source. When people replied to a video, sometimes they would adopt the email naming convention of RE followed by the video title to clearly indicate that this was a video response. This also had the side effect of giving your video similar metadata to the original one, which indicated to the algorithm that there was a strong level of relevance between the two videos, which makes sense if it's a video reply. The similar metadata between the two videos meant that sometimes the reply video would be recommended alongside the original video in the sidebar. Once a reply video saw enough clicks, you could even see it on the YouTube homepage. Alejandra Gatan on her YouTube channel The Reply Girl would exploit the system's tendency to put response videos with similar metadata in the sidebar in order to gain a lot of views. She did this by replying to viral videos at the time while wearing revealing clothing in the thumbnail and then using the YouTube reply feature in order to generate a lot of clicks. So that might not be entirely true. While I was trying to fact check this video, I couldn't find any real concrete evidence that the Reply Girls abused the video response feature, especially because it seems like potentially the original uploader had to approve your video response. I couldn't even find any confirmation of that except for some YouTube tutorials that contradict each other, so who knows? But regardless, it seems like the YouTube Reply Girls weren't abusing this YouTube reply feature and were just exploiting the way that the YouTube algorithm worked. This was the perfect recipe to exploit the YouTube algorithm at the time because the metadata would put her in front of millions of people and a low-cut top would generate a lot of clicks from presumably teenage boys. With a high number of clicks, the YouTube algorithm misunderstood her videos to be high quality, generating her millions of views and thousands of dollars. The videos themselves would be short, rambly, and usually pointless. Sometimes the videos weren't even about the thing they were replying to, but that didn't matter because clicks equals views, and views were the top ranking factor in the YouTube algorithm.
There's a big thing going on the other parts of the internet called about the Reply Girls.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Katie, 42024.
I am fed up of going to watch the latest Yogscast adventure only to be shocked by a massive pair of
breasticles, I guess probably the polite way to put it. This ultimately started to flood the website with copycats, and low-quality, unsatisfying videos became absolutely inescapable. The whole website was flooded with this type of content, and it seemed like the YouTube algorithm had been hijacked by Reply Girls. So while YouTube wants to show good videos to interested people, the more clicks equals good video formula is vulnerable to abuse, and that is how we're gonna hack the system. There's more. The Reply Girl and clickbait problem started to reach a fever pitch. Creators were unhappy, viewers were unhappy, and ultimately this started to look like an existential problem for YouTube. Other creators started to realize that clickbait and sexually explicit thumbnails were an easy way to generate a lot of views. Misleading titles and thumbnails started to become a major issue. You would click on a video not knowing whether you were going to get what was promised or just something else entirely. At this point, YouTube had to step in and figure out a solution. Some creators suggested using dislikes as a metric, but that comes with the obvious drawback of algorithmically deprioritizing unpopular opinions and leaving creators vulnerable to dislike harassment. But it turns out that the solution might have already been developed. In the original 2010 paper, this one, the engineers at YouTube were using more sophisticated tools to evaluate how the new recommendation system was doing. These tools would evaluate the satisfaction of a YouTube user by using things like long click-through rate and also how long they spent watching in a single watch session. So while this stuff seems to have started as diagnostic tools, they also became the solution to the Reply Girl and clickbait problem. Now YouTube considers watch time, aka how long you watched after clicking, as a major indication of quality. If a video is good, you would watch most, if not all of the video, and if it was bad, you would click away very quickly. So if you had high clicks and a low watch time, you would be indicating to YouTube that the title and thumbnail might be misleading, or the video is just not a satisfying watch. This was a pretty self-regulating way to punish clickbait. Now there's a balancing act between creating an enticing title and thumbnail and actually making a good video. And so then there was the change. And you're saying there was a day where there was a change.
There was a day. There was a day where there was a change. For years, I could go and look at those giraffe videos, and I could watch the day that it changed. I saw views per day being very steady for years, going to 0 in a day.
So now YouTube had gone beyond the click and into a more sophisticated way of measuring the quality of a video. Watch time. This changed a series of incentives on the platform and allowed new types of content to flourish. Also, it deprioritized other types of content, like reply goals. Now, for the first time ever, long-form content was being rewarded, most notably, gaming.
Gavin, what did you do?
No!
It's escape route.
That's called self-advertising, and it's a no-no. Alright?
So with watch time being a major factor, long videos with an overarching storyline like playthroughs of games hit all the right metrics to be uplifted in the algorithm. And that's why we saw the rise of PewDiePie.
How's it going, bros? My name's PewDiePie. That went great.
Creators still try to abuse the system by trying to make videos that were super long for no reason or videos that were super short to try and get 100% watch time. In fact, you see some of these attention hacking, watch time maximizing tricks being used today. Have you ever seen one of those TikTok videos where there's a Subway Surfer video playing on the side? They do that so there's so much visual stimulation that you're never bored.
Now back to me.
So we have a lot to add to this timeline. Lots has happened. We have gaming, we have PewDiePie, we have new YouTube homepages. Also, I think I'm gonna spruce up the past because I just realized how ugly this looks and that it's only gonna get uglier. Also, I'm just looking at the YouTube homepage printouts that I've got, and at this point, YouTube has settled on a design language and are basically making minor tweaks. So things get pretty boring from a design evolution perspective from this point on. 2015. Minecraft, PewDiePie, we got them all. First video, clickbait. I think I should also add the line in between the clicks and watch time era. Big change. The original research paper from 2010 is now on the board. Welcome to the big new wall. So in 2016, YouTube released a paper discussing their implementation of neural networks into the recommendation system. This makes the system not only infinitely more sophisticated, but it also makes it hard to explain how it reached any single decision. In the previous algorithm, there were literally formulas that I could calculate if I had the right metrics to hand, but in a neural network, you're just giving a robot inputs and then rewarding it if it produces a good result. We can't trace the workings out or thought process of any single decision. The neural net does what the neural net does. It's optimizing for a bunch of things that I'm sure YouTube is constantly tweaking and improving, but what we do know is that today it uses 80 billion different signals to decide what to recommend to you. That's 80 billion different factors like watch time, click-through rate, demographics, even freshness is considered. I could literally go on for 80 billion more examples if I knew all of them. We obviously don't know all of them, but that just demonstrates the complexity of the system today. The details of it are quite complicated and too much for this video, but what you do need to know is that the system is now a prediction machine. The system will predict how much you will watch and enjoy a video and then compares your actual behavior against the prediction, making tweaks and adjustments along the way with the updated information that it has. This improves the system not only for you, but for everyone over time. Now that YouTube had gone beyond the click, they started to look further and further past it, looking deeper into what users find satisfying and rewarding on the platform. They started to look at watch sessions, how much time people spent in a single sitting, but also how much time they spent overall, how much they revisited the website, and how that experience was for them. YouTube started to look at qualitative data like surveys to figure out how viewers valued their time on YouTube. Their stated goals today are to maximize people's overall satisfaction with YouTube over their lifetime. So that's probably also part of their 80 billion signals that they're factoring in. I mean, at this point, they're probably even factoring in the fact that you got ratioed on Twitter last week. Nowadays, YouTube has gotten a lot more intelligent about the metrics that they receive, blending qualitative and quantitative together in order to get a bigger picture. Over YouTube's history, an over-reliance on quantitative data has led to unintended consequences like the reply goals and a bunch of other stuff. And I think this can shed some light into why YouTube removed their publicly visible dislikes counter. Their official blog states that this was to prevent dislike harassment, but if you look at it through the lens of the algorithm, it's important to discourage users from providing bad data. Likes and dislikes are a valuable metric for the algorithm to understand whether people like you enjoyed a video. It's also important to note that the algorithm is more intelligent than like equals good and dislike equals bad. The algorithm, much like with your watch history, is trying to understand what groups of people like and dislike certain videos so it can inform who to send the videos to. I don't think it's the case that disliking a video means that it will just die forever. I think it means that people like you are less likely to see it. I'm sure even that is a lot more nuanced than what I'm saying. I'm sure that information video with a lot of dislikes is likely to be deprioritized because it might be misinformation, but other videos might not be. I'm just theorizing at this point. So how does this all work today? YouTube has stated that over the last few years, they've made an active effort to deprioritize borderline violative content to reduce the spread of misinformation and things that would be against the terms of service. YouTube keeps its cards pretty close to its chest about the mechanics of how that all works for obvious reasons. Another thing to note that I haven't mentioned yet is that the homepage and the sidebar are two different recommendation systems that work in slightly different ways. My suspicion is that this has always been the case, but I couldn't find any historical data on how this has changed or evolved, so I've just left it out and I'm going to talk about how it is today. The homepage shows you a diverse array of videos that you might be into. Here it takes into account the individual video's performance metrics and your user profile, while the sidebar are designed to show you videos that you're most likely to watch after the one you're currently watching. So the algorithm here would be looking at the data of the video you're currently watching to figure out what videos pair well together. These videos can be a lot more niche than the YouTube homepage because YouTube already has a vibe of what you're in the mood for. So the sidebar is more weighted towards relatedness, whereas the homepage is more about broad appeal. One is about keeping the vibe of the watch session, whereas the other is about giving you a platter of videos to choose from. Okay, so it's time to finish the wall. So we've got the minor homepage tweaks, we've got the neural network, and then we have modern day YouTube. These two look basically identical. This one is 2020, and this one's 2008. There you go. 2018. I put 2018 and 2020 in the wrong places. This one's 2018, that one's 2020. Well, is this 2020 or is this 2018? They look the same, they look the same. Yeah, this one's 2020, I'll put it there. 2020 and beyond. We have machine learning. I cut out a random diagram from the research paper because it looked sciencey. Okay, so I just dropped my camera. I don't actually know if anything's gonna record after this point. If you see this, great things have happened at the Answer and Progress factory. But the show must go on. Mr. Beast is here. He'll be making views. And finally, right over here in 2020 is us. I'm basically just a grown man doing a middle school presentation about YouTube at this point. So there it is, the entire history of the algorithm. Wait, so how do I get views on YouTube? Anyone that's been doing YouTube long enough will have been asked, how do you get views or subscribers? And I think there are some basic principles that you can follow to get some level of success on YouTube. Obviously, in the beginning, it will be a slow start. The algorithm has less data points on you, so it's still trying to find its footing. But I made this infographic on making YouTube videos with the algorithm in mind. The methods and implementation of this is different for every person, and that's the whole game of YouTube. But I thought I'd go through and explain everything I've learned along the way in my 10 years of making YouTube videos and 3 years of doing Answer and Progress. Firstly, don't violate the YouTube terms of service. If you do that, you're probably screwed. The second thing is making videos that are rewarding for viewers. Make interesting videos, make valuable videos. In the short term, you're trying to keep their attention, but in the long term, you want them to be fulfilling and satisfying. Essentially make good videos. This will lead to high watch time and strong watch sessions, and you'll have people coming back to your channel to watch more. And if you've been paying attention, all of that will help you in the algorithm, but it will also just mean you make good things. The third thing is to package your videos in a way that appeals to the viewers that would enjoy your videos the most. Don't mislead or overpromise, and all of that will lead to a high click-through rate. If you're a bakery and no one's coming through the door, then it doesn't really matter how good your vegan sausage rolls are. No one's eating them. And finally, try to get views from people that would genuinely like the video. YouTube is pretty smart about finding more people like that. What will keep people's attention for a knitting channel is going to be different to a Mr. Beast video. And the titles and thumbnails that these two different groups will be attracted to is also different. This is a bit of a side note, but every social media that uses a recommendation system works in a similar way. The metrics and nuances of every platform are different, but That's a different video. There's a lot of bad YouTube advice out there, especially from people who just don't know what they're talking about. But I hope that by learning a little bit about the history of the algorithm and how it all works today, you'll be able to figure out what advice makes sense. So feel free to screenshot this. It's got literally everything you need about the principles of making YouTube videos, in my opinion. I think that if you get advice that pretty obviously violates one of these pretty uncontroversial principles, then they're probably mistaken, or worse, they just don't know what they're talking about. I think that once you do your research, finding success on YouTube is really simple, but incredibly hard. I think that's why it feels like anyone can do it, but very few people succeed.
I often find that people who are really obsessed with and focused on optimizing for the algorithm, it tends to not serve them long term, because what you should be optimizing for is the people who are the only inputs that the algorithm has. What the algorithm does with the data, that is very much controlled by the companies. But what the data is really just human decisions, whether to keep watching a video, whether to swipe, whether to like, whether to click. All of these things are human decisions. And so my, sort of drive, as I have watched these things continue to change over and over again, year after year, is just try and make stuff that people will click on and watch.
Not to be overly romantic about it all, but make good stuff, make exciting stuff, and make it for people. And also, buy our shirt!
Whoa, what's going on behind you,
1
bro?
million.
Hold on. Sorry, I don't
Listen,
care.
this is my mental health
Are
wall.
is this why you didn't talk to us for like 2 weeks?
YouTube has sent us the 1 million subscriber plaque. It's time to open it. Wait, how do I open this?
Man uncovered the entire YouTube algorithm but can't open a box.
Big reveal, guys.
It's the
What do
moment.
you think's inside?
I sure hope it's the plaque.
Oh, there's a letter.
Is it from Susan?
It's from Susan. It's still
It's
from
still
Susan.
from Susan?
I like this more than the actual plaque.
Wait, we haven't seen it
We
yet.
haven't seen
Show
the plaque,
us.
bro. Does it say answers in progress? Can you imagine?
That would be so
terrible.
sad. You have to unwrap it. You gotta feel the gold.
I'm scared. I don't want to get my fingerprints on it.
It was that
Oh, it's so shiny.
I think you're supposed to look into the play button as you read the letter so you can see your reflection.
It's beautiful. It is actually beautiful. It's actually like kind of hitting me now. I should put it on my wall.
Look at us.
We did it.
Wow, this actually is... You know what? Stop it. I'm starting to get emotional. This is stupid.
Losing views, losing subscribers to this moment.
Dog, are you crying?
No, I've had mascara.
Sure.
I've like not even taken a single moment to like think about how many subscribers we had until I was just sitting here while you guys were talking. Like I feel like we just got 1 million subscribers and we were immediately like, okay, well, let's just continue.
Yeah, but like seeing the play button and seeing that timeline. Bruh.
I'm actually so happy. I did not think I was going to be this happy.
Might cry a little bit. There may be a little bit of a tear.
In my eyes?
No, in mine. In our eyes.
Comrade eyes. Hey, if you got to this point in the video, what are you doing? Go do something else.
Like buy our merch.